in that segment, actually the gas also they have included. So what they wanted to say is India's energy towards environmental friendly fuel and the energy vision of the India enunciated by Prime Minister Modi based on energy access, energy efficiency, energy sustainability, and energy security is a part of the integrated approach to provide energy justice to the citizens. See, friends, if you look at the flow chart of the energy conservation, these are four major steps that any country or any business or any process has to follow. One is that energy access, and energy efficiency, energy sustainability, energy security. So let me explain a little bit because I'm sure most of you guys all must be in second year of engineering. So definitely you are going to deal with two kinds of energy, particularly thermal and electrical energy. So little bit we'll have some clarity before proceeding further into the presentation. See, energy access means do we have first of all access to the energy across the country? I'm talking not in my home or in your home. I am asking into if suppose the deepest part of Siliguri, the deepest part of the Guwahati or somewhere close to the border, if I go there, do I have access to the energy there? So that the energy infrastructure access, first of all, that is the first stage of the energy cycle itself. Once you have the infrastructure, once you have the access, I'm sure you will start using the energy by variety of appliances, actually starting from the smallest usage of the electricity is starting from bulb and you go up to the refinery or any chemical industry. There are very, very big boilers, furnaces are there. So everywhere the energy is utilized. Okay. So then when the consumption starts by virtue of the having access to the energy, one will take care of the energy efficiency, because our job is not ending with only having energy and using it just like that, because today if we are not energy efficient, today if our system is not energy efficient, and we may have problems in the future to go because of the consumption pattern, because if you look at the population size of this country, it is almost something close to 1.3 billions, and it is even going. And look at the energy production, look at the energy energy availability and all these factors. If you see, the energy efficiency really plays a vital role. Once you become energy efficient, energy sustainability is the third stage. Energy sustainability means tomorrow, whether this energy is going to be there, that is the one part of the energy system. And other than that, whatever the raw material, that means it may be the coal or it may be the crude petroleum or any other liquid fuels or gas fuels. On account of the energy production, definitely you all will know some pollution is going to come. If suppose if I am producing energy for the virtue of the electricity by using the coal as a raw material, that means a solid product. Coal is a solid product. If I am using the coal as a raw material and for producing the energy or electricity, definitely it is bound to be emitting some kind of a pollution in terms of the particles or smog or fog and all those things. So those things are actually not sustainable if you are looking at the health aspects of the citizens who are consuming that electricity. So in the process, what I have to do, I have to slowly have the transition. That's what the first line of the minister says, India's energy transition. That means initially 50 years back I was using coal. Now I am slowly switching over to the liquid fuels like crude petroleum and kind of things. And now I am coming to the gas. Gas is the best form of the energy generation with the least pollution. That means I am going to produce energy by using the raw material with the least disturbance to the society and with the least disturbance to the existing resources. So that is called so-called sustainability, and later comes into the energy security. That means even one must be sure, if I have to run this program, I know that the college management, how much of the energy infrastructure they have provided, and at my end also, what is the energy infrastructure I have taken care. So all these things will form a part of the security. That means if I am doing a program after 30 days, I must have the energy in place without any disturbance in the system. That kind of security, if it is there, as a country, we have actually achieved, then only we can say that in terms of energy efficiency or energy sustainability, energy security. These are all the important parts of the integrated approach to provide the energy justice. See, I'm sure you all must be agreeing with the diagram I'm showing on the screen. See, the fan is there on your left hand top portion, and the down hand, it is there, switches are there. How many of you agree that switching of the fan unit is sufficient? That is number one. I cannot expect any answers because definitely it is not a mutual communication. And most of the people will say that yes, I am switching off the button. Sir, there are four buttons on the bottom of the unit. I will switch it off and I'll take rest. And how many of you agree that the switch, what I am putting the cursor on the panel, this also has to be put off. As long as this switch is on, that means some electricity is bound to be consumed. So the unit has to be switched off. At the same time, the button also switched off. Okay, so that means to that extent, one must have the micromanagement. I'm not asking to switch off everything, because tomorrow if you are switching off the servers after this presentation, then problem will be coming. So wherever you are switching off, take care of these kind of sensible issues. You cannot switch off everything, but wherever the non-critical things are, wherever utilization kind of things are there, ensure that unit is switched off, and the actual switches are also switched off. So that will save the energy, because unless we go to this kind of the micromanagement in energy conservation, and it is not possible. Let me give you a couple of examples why energy conservation is important. See, energy conservation is a big topic, and it is a big initiative. I don't think anybody can go up to that level in spite of, with respect to its implementation in totality, 100%. But whereas the initiative taken by the individual consumer, yes, today I have to save the power, I have to save the electricity, I have to save the resource. As I have mentioned, no, the 3-4 parameters like energy sustainability, energy security. The future generation should be using this energy the way I have been using and I have used. So if the resource is missing, if the resource is getting disappeared, then what we are doing is quite wrong to the society. So that may not be a part of the energy conservation. So, and I can give you one more examples also. I can try to correlate with the current pandemic situation, the corona. Energy conservation is no different from the corona, because the government has done enough actually in educating the people, in giving the awareness to thousands of the lakhs of the people, crores of the people, in terms of the social distancing, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of the media programs and all those things. But still the cases are rising. But okay, whatever the reasons, the way every citizen has to save energy, and if 130 crore citizens today, if they are saving 1 unit of energy, definitely you will imagine the kind of savings it is giving. At the same time, everybody, with respect to the corona also, everybody has to follow the protocols, social distancing, all those things. Then only we can get rid of this virus, or we can get rid of this pandemic situation, till the virus is found out or till the medicine is found out. So energy conservation, my dear friends, it is not a government's job. Of course, it is a government's job. It is government's responsibility to give you the system, but the system has to be operated efficiently by every citizen, every consumer. So coming into the actual presentation, last year, I am sure you all must be knowing the scenario in the automobile sector and other similar sectors. Everybody is talking about slowdown, and today we have come to the lockdown actually. So no business is running, and everything is very bad. And for the last 70 to 80 days, and as per some analysis, as per some experts, we have the loss of 1,000 crores almost per day by becoming non-operative in every segment of or in every industry or in every business vertical in this country. That means by lockdown, maybe these figures may have some kind of variation, but a rough analysis is that by closing all the industries, we are almost losing something close to 1,000 crores per day. So far, I'm sure we might have incurred something close to 1 lakh crores also. That is what everybody is worried. And the kind of uncertainty now coming into the system and all those things, one must be keeping in mind before taking any kind of initiative or whatever it is. Friends, energy conservation, I have given a small background or some kind of a backup. Most of you guys, not most of you guys, you are all engineers who are attending this program. And you say, if I ask a question, one-to-one, face-to-face meeting, you'll say, sir, it is a technical program. It is a technical aspect of the webinar. And somebody says, if I ask a non-engineer, they say, sir, it is a behavioral, it is a purely attitude-oriented program. If you ask me frankly, my opinion is it is technical as well as behavioral. First of all, like the energy savings, energy management, everything, like the old proverb, the charity begins at home. So the same way, every initiative, every attitude, everything starts with the self first, and thereafter it goes to the society. Then after that it becomes state and country, like that. So it is behavioral. Definitely one must have the that attitude of saving not only energy, not only any other thing. See, when we talk about financial management, nobody need not tell save this money, save that much money. Okay, so we are all well equipped how to save the money. But when it comes to the energy management, nobody cares. Like I am attending this program in your campus. Suppose Siliguri I have come, and I have come to your college institute, and I have done the program, physical program with all of you. And at the end of the program, once I say the program is over, mostly college students have the tendency or the approach to leave the campus immediately without bothering. Anybody has switched off the fans, anybody switched off the air conditioner, anybody bothered to switch off the projector or laptop, kind of things. These are all small things only, and all these small things will add to the some kind of energy consumption. And when it is multiplied by 130 crore citizens, I am not saying everybody is doing that, but what I am saying is I am only trying to sensitize. Today you take a decision at the end of the program. Yes, I will try to save something. Suppose what you can do as a student, you can save a lot of money on the fuel, because you all must be having two-wheeler or four-wheeler. For a small work, you have every opportunity to go by two-wheeler, or you have the opportunity to go by walk also. And in the same way, when you look at the macro level, around you, there are multiple energy saving opportunities. Nobody is going to give you medal or awards or honors. Everybody has to do on their own, thinking that this asset belongs to me, this society belongs to me. What I am doing is not only for me, is for others. This kind of a macro and commonsensical approach, if anybody is having, definitely this country will have the best. Definitely this country is having one of the youngest generation. More than 60% of the country is having the young people, and the future lies in your hands only. Save the energy and take care of the projects. So friends, India, if you look at the population of India across the globe, I am talking about, we are 130 crore citizens and contributing to something close to 18% of the global population. But what is the percentage of our energy consumption? It is only 6%. Okay, that means per capita, that means per head. If I look at the energy consumption, comparing with the developed countries like Britain, America, European community, maybe China, maybe other countries, this energy consumption is not up to the mark. That means the more we consume energy, or the more we make the energy efficient, the better the system of living is good. So that is the way. And we are not consuming as per the world energy estimates. Actually, our consumption is very less. Even in that consumption also, it is not efficient also. At the same time, what is the good news in this is, on account of the usage, on account of the consumption, as I have told you earlier, there is going to be pollution, there is going to be emission, there is going to be something coming out. And that is very less, 6%. So we all must clap for this, for the less pollution we are creating with whatever infrastructure we have. Okay. And coming to the lacuna, why we are not able to implement the 100% in energy conservation? The lack of knowledge or concern at end consumer level. Why should I bother? Tomorrow I am employed. I am completing the 4th year engineering, and I got a campus placement. I joined some company. Maybe let me take the one of the biggest company in your domain only, Tata Steel, Tisco company. I joined there. Steel industry, if you look at, is one of the most energy intrinsic segment. A lot of energy is consumed because of the heating operation, because of the melting operation. Foundries are there, boilers are there, furnaces are there, reactors are there, generators are there. Many of the equipments are there which consume the energy. So whenever you are going to such kind of industry or a similar industry, you all must have some kind of knowledge. I'm sure you all will have the basic knowledge, but at the same time, this kind of approach towards energy conservation will help you a lot in using the energy at a lower level. And the second point is not mine attitude. Okay, this energy does not belong to me. My owner is paying the electricity, so I don't care. Let him pay because it's not my money. Such kind of attitude is not at all desirable. At the same time, one must also have the some kind of awareness regarding the usage of the resource efficiency. All these resources are very, very limited. Very, very limited. Let me repeat, because today, because of the lockdown, we are all sitting at the home and using the energy. Only I am using it. Maybe fan, maybe air conditioning, maybe appliances or whatever it is. Okay, the energy demand has come down because industry is not running. But at the same time, I have to use the energy efficiently for tomorrow's purpose. Remember, friends, the energy is available only today. If you are all taking initiative to make it available for tomorrow also, there comes the efficiency. And technological disruptions on regular basis, and unemployment is also debatable. I used to just make fun of myself by putting the last point in the presentation, because unemployment means I am sitting at home without doing any work, or I did not get a job, or I don't have a job, and what I will do at sitting at home? Definitely wasting the energy. So it is just like LOL, you people say laugh out loud. So unemployment also contributes to one of the energy conservation. So this is a good news. Last 80 days, the industry is down. No industry is working. Because of that, pollution is very less. Because of that, carbon dioxide is less, of course. And this is a correction given by the nature, by generation of the virus. Because the nature keeps on giving many alerts. Actually, the pollution is going up, the things are going worse, and sometimes, not sometimes, many of the times, we have become deaf and dumb. Actually, we have not bothered to give the attention to that. So nature has taken its own kind of a reaction, or maybe it is cursing us by this kind of lockdown. Actually. So now the clouds are clear, and there is no pollution. Definitely, in fact, I was speaking to one of the customer at Chennai, actually, who is the what I should say, one of the big customer in producing the axles. Actually, is a TVS Group customer. He is telling, sir, clouds are clear. I am getting a better quality water. And this word I heard after so many years. People are telling I am getting a better air and better quality of water because of the zero pollution. So anyway, this is a blessing in disguise. So the pollution has come down, emissions have come down. But once virus is gone, once we are all, once the entire climate is acquitted of the virus, definitely the industrialization is going to be on, and we are all going to work with the more speed because of the because we need to cover the previous compensatory losses, what and all we have lost on account of this lockdown. So that time we should be taking care of the pollution, emissions, efficiency and all. Otherwise, the situation again will come back to the normal. Okay, just look at the diagram I am showing to you. This is the carbon dioxide emissions as per the 2008 for all the 100 and I think something close to 138 countries. Just look at this. Only few countries are having the green. These are all numbers. Just look at the diagram. Only very few countries have the green. That means whoever is in green, their carbon dioxide emissions, nitrogen dioxide emissions, sulfur dioxide emissions are very well controlled, well within the limits. Wherever red is there, orange is there, and similar yellow color is there, all those things, they are not up to the mark. So this is the damage we have done collaterally so far to the entire globe. Now this graph may be redundant because of the lockdown. Situation has improved a lot actually everywhere, but we should not go back. Once the industry is open, once everything is open, we should not go and damage the society. So how are we going to do all those things? We will see. So this is the pictorial representation over a period of time starting from 1990, 2019 till last year. Just look at the carbon dioxide emissions are almost going up. But for the last 5 years, it has attained the flattened curve actually. That means there is no carbon dioxide emissions going up the way it is going from 1990 to 2015. It is an exponential increase side, but whereas last 5 years, the curve has flattened. The curve has flattened and there is no increase in the emissions. It is a good news. Okay. So there comes the PCRA, actually Petroleum Conservation Research Association, and this is a government entity and the research institute formed under the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas with the funding of the BPCL, HPCL, Indian Oil and similar oil companies actually. So once upon a time, they have formed, the government has formed this company actually, basically to work out certain measures actually in terms of the energy conservation. So friends, what is the importance of the fuel conservation if you see? Because all these are all non-renewable. Why I am saying non-renewable means if you are using any resource, it may be the coal or it may be petroleum product, it may be gas or anything. Once you are consuming means it is gone, the resource is gone. Again you have to excavate the resource, again you have to produce the resource, again you have to use it. That's why it is called as a non-renewable. Whereas renewable, if you look at like solar, tidal, wind, nuclear, all these are all renewable resources and present everywhere, and whatever you use, so there is no question of extinction, so nothing will happen to them. But whereas when it comes to the crude petroleum based products, these are all coming under non-renewable because they are not available everywhere. And if you look at the demand of this country with respect to the consumption of the petroleum products, something close to 90% is brought through imports only 10% only. That means if I give a simple example in terms of a common man's language, I am using 1 liter of the petrol, 900 ml of the petrol I am purchasing it from outside, 100 ml only I am producing within the country and distributed with the citizens actually. That means 90% of demand is coming from the imports only because I don't have this product and I don't have the system to produce the product within the country. And at the same time, as and when these kind of lockdowns, uncertainties are coming, in international scenario, the crude oil prices are getting changed. Sometimes I have to purchase at a higher price, and because of that, the daily pricing of the petroleum products like fuels, like petrol and diesel, and you all must be knowing it, for the last 10 days, almost every day 30 to 40 paisa is going up because of the uncertainty in the international level. Because there are national factors are there, geographical factors are there, many factors are there, all these lead to uncertainty. At the same time, what is the variation in the foreign exchange rates? That means today US dollar is 76 rupees and tomorrow it becomes 77. That means my product had devalued by 1 rupee. So the lower the dollar, the better is the Indian rupee because we get the more product. So this is the because of these reasons one must have the concept of the conservation. Look at the energy conservation trends actually. So almost the trends will take place by the largest organizations like International Energy Agency, IEA. So this is one agency who keeps track of the energy consumption trends for every country. So sometimes it used to happen once in 2 years or once in 3 years. So this is the latest data. As far as energy consumption is concerned, in India, we are depending on the oil something close to 35%. That means we don't have the product and we are depending on the oil. Imagine, this is the worst part of the situation. And coal, I am depending something close to 28%. Okay, coal is abundantly available in the country, so no problem. And at the same time, slowly we are switching over from the conventional energy resources to renewable side. Renewable, if you see, there are hydro, wind, geothermal, solar and all those things. Okay, so the natural gas coming back to the conventional, we are depending on the 23%. So we have started 50 years back or 70 years back with coal. Now we have switched over to oil, we have switched over to natural gas. The first slide, if you remember, the Prime Minister, the Minister of Petroleum, they have started the gas agency, the gas exchange platform actually. So that means this is the government of India's committed approach, or maybe I should say the augmented approach in terms of moving the energy transition from the solid products to liquid, liquid to gas, and next to the renewable also. So this is the trend actually. The most worrying thing I would like to repeat, we don't have the oil in the country, crude petroleum, but we are depending on the oil based electricity generation, something close to 35%. That is the reason I am again and again saying consumption is important. At the same time, conservation is also important. See, this is the distribution of petroleum products in every segment of the society. Society, if you ask me to classify, there are 6 sections actually. Industrial, that means industries are operating. Agricultural, you know that, doesn't have to explain. Transport, you know, the personal transport and the public transport. Then here also petrol based transport and diesel based transport. The domestic means the household. In household where I am using the energy, I am using the petroleum products by virtue of the LPG and electrical energy and others. The entire society is classified into 6. Look at the percentage of the petroleum products used in every domain of the vertical society. So this is the way our consumption is going. This is the tracker. So you might be surprised why this person is telling only savings, only conservation, why he kept on saying this thing. See, the resource available as on date in the country, if you look at the oil, it will come to only for 20 years. Okay, that is the main threat. That means we may not have the oil resources in the country after 20 years. So 20 years is a smaller duration. Gas and coal, no problem. Gas will be available for 36 years because many of the technologies are still depending on the oil only. So that is the main threat. Coal anyway we are historically using. There is no threat of the scarcity because it will come about one generation, some 100 years, more than 100 years. But we are depending mostly on oil, but the oil is not there. That is the main threat. And today, if we don't wake up, if we don't start conserving the resource, and tomorrow we end up in a grave situation worse than corona pandemic. So energy requirement is required because I have to ensure the growth. Energy generation also should double every 10 years. Then only the country, people say, today we are having the stigma of the developing country. So when I will become the developed country, like G5 countries. Okay, so I can become a developed country provided if I am introducing the standards, I am introducing the process, I am introducing the specifications at par with the G5. Then only I can become energy efficient. Then only I can say, yes, I am also growing, I am also consuming, at the same time I am also saving. So these and all will happen once in 10 years. So we need to have the economic growth besides meeting all the parameters. And at the same time, energy security, as I was telling, energy security means the availability of energy on tomorrow is going to be there besides reducing pollution. Hence, energy conservation is a compulsion. So we normally do energy audits actually when we go to the industry just to understand what is the pattern of his energy consumption. So these audits are basically done in 2 ways. The preliminary energy audit, we just walk through the industry, understand his pattern of equipments, understand his pattern of consumption. Then we suggest him this is the way you can save the energy. We don't get anything. It is basically almost a kind of a charitable activity. But yes, when we do the detailed audit, definitely the customer and consumer is going to save something, and the government of India is charging a nominal charges for a detailed energy audit than in every industry. So, as a part of the preliminary energy audit, these are the normal activities we do it, because unless otherwise I familiarize myself with the process activity, I will not be able to understand what is going on there. Then only I can suggest if somebody is asking, if somebody is using one kind of a fuel excessively, like I can give an example, a boiler, ill-maintained boiler, because so when you are using the boiler or furnace, there would be a lot of deposits, carbon deposits, and he is not at all maintaining, and he is losing the energy efficiency of the boiler because of the deposits present, and there is no system of vapor recovery in case he is using for the steam generation, or the losses, heat losses, how to control, and he is not at all using it for the CHP, combined heat power generation. That means he is just using it, and he is no way either controlling the losses or no way recovering or no way doing anything. So like this, we understand the process in every energy audit by collecting the details about the technology, the process, equipment. Then after that, we collect the data, operating parameters and all those things. then we give some kind of a report format to them. Today, your monthly consumption for your industry is something close to 40 lakhs. I am just talking about an industry called steel industry. You go to a foundry, I don't think the minimum electricity bill of a foundry anywhere would vary between 30 to 45 lakhs. So what we do, we go there, study their parameters, and wherever it is possible, we suggest the energy conservation measures. If this is the way, if you do it, and your energy demand will come down, the moment your energy demand is coming down, we don't have to produce the energy. That means the demand on the electricity board will come down. At the same time, the savings are there, pollution is also there. So just see designated consumers. Designated consumers means who are consuming the electricity, both thermal as well as electrical energy on a very, very high scale. Just look at this power station. Power station job is to produce the power. But how they are producing power? They are using the coal by burning, or they may be using the gas, whatever it is. Okay. And they are consuming 30,000 metric tons of oil almost per year. And you see 90% it is coming from outside. You remember my first earlier slide, 90% of the oil is imported. 30,000 metric tons. 90% means something close to 27,000 metric tons of oil I am importing from outside country for this industry. And imagine what kind of logistics required, what kind of cost mechanism I have to place on record, everything. And fertilizers, cement, iron steel, chemical companies, railways. Railways is a classic example of the largest transportation in this country. Of course, diesel based once upon a time. Now they have converted to the electrical because of the energy conservation. And you see, lot of diesel is saved. And now today they are just using electricity. I think more than 80% of Indian railways, they have got electrified. They have converted all their fleets to electricity, and they are able to save so much of the diesel fuel consumption. So the consumers which are using the large amount of electricity are called as designated consumers. All the steel industries, pulp industries, textile industry, thermal, fertilizer, cement, all primary transports, any state transports, all these come under the designated consumers. So the government of India is the main focus is basically we used to approach them and advise them and give the awareness level starting from bottom to top. Everybody we cover and we give the some kind of tips also. This is the way you can save the energy so that the macro objective of the country with respect to energy conservation is achieved without any hassle. These are the simple principles because I'm sure you all guys would be studying energy conservation in your curriculum, but at the same time, when you want to take energy conservation as a career, I would like to touch upon at the end, not beginning in the mid of the presentation. There are many opportunities. So those things we will see at the end. Energy conservation as a principle has to be done without affecting the health, safety, environment. Just like that, without understanding the process, without understanding the principle, I just go and do some conservation. Tomorrow it is leading to some kind of collapse. Then it is not possible. I can give you just an example. Like in Operation Theatre, the electricity has to be maintained something close to 16 to 18 in any hospital actually, because unless it is maintained in a low temperature, basically those equipments they are keeping or medicines they are keeping, because the environment has to be maintained, the climate that's called as a climate control. The climate control has to be there. In case on the name of energy conservation, if you don't maintain the climate control, then tomorrow some bad thing might happen. Like the algae fungal formation also can happen in the medicines. So energy conservation should not affect the health, safety, environment of the system as well as the person without understanding the process. So my request is understand the principle, understand the process in detail, and wherever it is possible, try to do it at design stage. Not that I have done at a later stage. Suppose you are constructing a building. Understand the energy conservation building code, ECBC they call it as energy conservation building code. How can I make this building energy efficient? That means it consumes the less electricity for the lighting purpose. It consumes the less electricity for the ventilation purpose. I will design the building in such a way, automatic lighting is there, automatic ventilation is there, so that I don't have to depend on the electricity for the ventilation as well as for the lighting. And today new technology has come, and people are using recycled material and different kind of materials which consumes the energy, which makes the energy efficient buildings, and green building concepts also have come, so that over a period of time, the upgradation of knowledge and skill levels, technology, by virtue of the energy conservation is going up. At the same time, we are also enjoying the benefits of energy conservation on the name of sustainability and security. So these are the simple principles, my dear friends. So, and when you are considering the energy conservation as a topic or as a concept, one must remember the life cycle cost of the equipment, because whenever you are purchasing any asset, let us take a common simple example. You are purchasing a air conditioner. Now, what is its cost, purchase cost, and what is the installation cost? What is the operating cost? What is the maintenance cost? Are you financing, or you are purchasing with your own money? Then over a period of time, what is the depreciation cost? And all these costs actually something close during the motor's lifetime. Just see, I have written on your left side, electric bill itself accounts for the 88%, whereas the other parameters, what and all I have read now, starting from point number 1 to 6, it is only 12%. That means electrical energy in the usage of the equipment almost accounts for 88%. So that is the reason we are focusing more on the energy conservation. Okay, so these are the simple examples, like in case you are working in industry, or you are joining an industry sometime later. These are all the things you must be coming across, like transformers. More than 95% efficiency has to be there. Otherwise, it cannot meet the criteria. Energy efficient equipment. Okay, so similar, like energy efficient equipment, I can give a similar example like air conditioner. Today, air conditioner, the rating system, whenever you are purchasing the air conditioner, are you seeing the rating system? What is the star rating? That means single star, double star, 3-star, or 4-star, 5-star. The more stars, the more energy efficient it is. Maybe the initial cost is a little bit higher, but at the same time, in terms of the energy efficiency, in terms of the electricity bills, it is going to be perfect. So you all must see ISEER rating. That means Indian Seasonal Energy Efficiency Ratio, that is expressed in terms of the stars. So always go and above at least 3-star whenever you are purchasing air conditioner, because the rate of return and the return of investment will be very faster in the star rated energy efficient equipments. So these are the basically look at the other components of the industry. The motors, without motor you cannot visualize the industry functioning, as I was mentioning, ISEER, and these are the different mechanisms actually the industries are following at many places. When you are not doing the energy conservation during design stage itself, and these kind of problems are likely to come. That means the life cycle cost may not give the required objective in terms of the initial investment. Sometimes unknowingly you have procured the higher design where a lower design is required. That means you end up with the high electricity bills. Instead of paying 1,000 rupees, you will pay 2,000 rupees. So this is the impact of over design, and standardization and non-standardization always continue to be there. And this is the energy audit methodology we propose to conduct an industry. Basically, we take care of the energy inputs, and we see the capacity utilization. What is your capacity? How much you are utilizing? Any capacity unutilized? Then avoidable losses, unavoidable losses. These are the main things basically one must look into the consideration before doing energy audit. I can give you an example for the avoidable losses and unavoidable losses. And you have a two-wheeler, and because of some leakage, the diesel, the petrol is getting leaked from the tail bottom pipe actually. So those things you can go to your nearest mechanic, or in case you know the subject, you yourself can arrest it actually. That is avoidable losses. Like unavoidable losses, in a industry where the tailpipe emissions are coming, or maybe the top of the chimney, so much of heat is wasted. And in case you develop a system for the recovery of those heat losses, and it is very good. But as an individual, you cannot do anything much on the unavoidable losses, at least you can do is inform your management, inform your next person, sir, this is becoming unavoidable losses. Do we take care, or can we do anything towards the unavoidable losses? Because all these are all small things, all these are all small measures. But if individuals are doing it, so definitely it is a big gain to the industry or big gain to the society, or maybe further matter to the country also. So these are the examples I have given, like a boiler flue gas. All these gases normally nobody bothers, and they are letting it to go. So don't do it, and there is a recovery system. Sir. Compressed air leak. In any industry, the last part of industry is the compressor room. Most of the people don't even go. So much of air is getting wasted, and so much of air is getting wasted means it is the wastage of electricity. Air is free, but not compressed air. Please remember, I am telling you again, air is free, you can do waste, or you can waste it as much as, but compressed air is not free, because you are consuming the electricity and you are paying the electricity bill, so you are not supposed to waste it. And there are different kind of operating conditions wherever you are keeping the compressor, like the temperature, the pressure, at what elevation you are keeping the compressor, and what are the maintenance conditions you are supposed to, and what is the measures you are supposed to take in terms of arresting the leak, all those things, and define the different parameters also, like limitations, capacity, underutilization, and all. See, friends, coming to the government initiatives, the government has introduced so many initiatives, like Energy Conservation Act, introduced in 2001, Act 2003, Energy Conservation Building Code, Energy Efficiency. You Calcutta, you have the metro also, the promotion of public transport, mass transport. Metro is a classical example of the energy efficiency. And today, I am importing a lot of oil, as I have told you already, 90% I am importing. And to avoid that, I am also trying to substitute oil with the locally available materials. They call it as bioproducts, biomass, ethanol kind of thing, and Bureau of Energy Efficiency, and so on. Okay, and December 14, every year, it is celebrated as the National Energy Conservation Day. Gentlemen, as I have told you already, society is classified into 5-6 sectors where energy is consumed: transport, domestic, industry, commercial, agricultural. Today, if you decide to save something in every sector, there is almost potential something close to 10 to 30%. Start with your home. Wherever you see there is a possibility for the energy savings, start saving it. See, we put the fan and light on in one room and go to the front room, and we started speaking there for almost 10-20 minutes. The light and fan are going on in the back end room. Okay, it is a wastage. Like that, small things. I don't have to teach much technical on this. You guys are only well equipped actually. In case you people all have decided to save the energy, there will be a lot of savings. Simple. So these are the services actually Petroleum Conservation Research Association is offering in the industry. Like number of services are there: energy audit, small scale, technical meets, workshops, training programs, exhibitions, the mandatory energy audits, consultancies, energy certifications, kind of thing. Okay. That is nothing but perform, achieve, and trade. That means the government will give you some target. Gentlemen, you reduce your electricity bill or you reduce your energy consumption by this much percentage, and you reduce the pollution, you reduce the emission by this much percentage. At the same time, you save some money. This is nothing but PAT. Perform, achieve, and trade. As per the government targets, if any industry is able to achieve, and they will be called as a PAT compliance industries. So it is a government initiative. When they have introduced the Cycle 1, 2012 and 2015, 24,517 crores, when they have invested, there is a return of something close to 35%. That means almost 10,000 crores the government has saved by virtue of the energy consumption, by virtue of avoiding the power generation across all the industries in the country. That is the power of PAT. That is the power of the energy conservation. At the same time, it is not only reducing the energy usage, it is also reducing the pollution, it is also generating the skill also. That means employment is also getting generated. This is the Cycle 1. In Cycle 2, they have invested 30,000 crores and they have almost got 20,000 crores. Imagine the power of energy saving. Besides energy saving, besides emission reduction, besides skill development, and besides lot of certifications and accreditations and so on. So that is the big savings actually. When it is started in 2012, there are only large scale or designated consumers, only 478 only. Because of the massive follow-up, because of the continuous follow-up by the government, the number of industries who have enrolled in PAT 1, 2, 3 and all, over a period of time, the number has gone up from 478 to 737. So there is almost a very good enrollment of large scale industries after realizing the benefits of the energy conservation. So energy conservation, the major benefits, you save the money, you save the resource, and you reduce the pollution, and the resource is available for the next day also. So friend, the unit of energy conserved today as per the industry standard is equal to 5 units of energy generated. That means you have to save energy. It is purely in your hands. Today if you save energy, that is as good as equal to 5 units of energy generated. That means we can avoid generating the energy, we can avoid polluting the environment by just saving. These are the main two important parameters. The last year, 2018, the Indian government, the government of India has achieved the monetary savings, something close to 53,000 crores only on account of energy savings. And you see thermal energy savings, 9.41 million tons of oil equivalent, that much of oil is saved. And electricity savings, you see 86.6 billion units they have saved. Besides this much of money. And carbon emissions, carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, all these things, they also 119 million tons per year they have reduced actually, carbon emissions actually. See, these are the major initiatives by the government in every segment actually. They have brought the fuel efficiency training program in transport sector. If you look at the industry, the boilers, furnaces and other oil operated equipments are getting modernized with more efficient ones. And the promotion of the fuel efficient practices, I am sure you all must be knowing it. As and when the PCRA is conducting that conservation programs, you also must be seeing so many jingles coming in the media, FM and radios. Save the fuel at the signal point, save the fuel by not over speeding, like that. Standardization of the fuel efficient irrigation pump sets. In agricultural, if you see, the earlier pump sets which are diesel operated are not very energy efficient. So the government has not only rectified them, they have also standardized, they have also upgraded, so that the farmers who are working in the agricultural, they are using the energy efficient pump sets. So in every domain, even if you see, I am sure most of you guys knowing who are there in rural area, earlier they were using the biomass products actually, like which is based out of the cow dung for the generation of the energy. The Prime Minister, this government has converted most of them to LPG stoves, and because of that previous methodology followed, there is a lot of the bronchial problems because of the biomass used in a non-proper way or non-standardized way, and not only that, pollution. So when they have been converted to kerosene and then now LPG stoves, there is a lot of health improvement besides the pollution reduction also. So the number of things, initiatives are continuing. Renewable energy also, the government is giving the focused approach on renewables slowly, of course steadily, solar, hydro and other things, battery operated vehicles, biogas, methanol is coming into, CNG is coming into, LPG is coming into, and other similar schemes like energy efficiency furnaces, boilers, and heat exchangers. If you look at the chemical companies, refineries, and many of the places, CHP is now taking combined heat power generation, improved housekeeping practices, so on, the long list. Even in a segment like lubricants also, the Indian Railways have done a very massive research in the engine oils actually, Earlier, they used to use one kind of oils which are not at all giving the very good diesel savings. So what they have done some modification in the formulation of engine oil. Because of that, not only the oil consumption, the fuel consumption, that is the diesel consumption also has come down drastically. This is one of the biggest project carried out by the Indian Railways. So these are the list of alternates actually. I'm sure you all must be knowing it. Super efficient air conditioners, as I have told you, ISER rating. These ACs actually, this is a new development, Bureau of Indian Standards and Voltas. Voltas, everybody knows it. It is a brand setter in the air conditioners actually. So they both have to combine together. First time in the Indian industry, one standard formulator, Bureau of Indian Standards, and one air conditioner manufacturer, original equipment manufacturer, they have come together and they made the super efficient ACs. Now they are telling, so far in air conditioners only 5 stars are there. Now they are bringing 7-star. What is the unique point of the 7-star ACs? The electricity bill is lower by 30% and the pollution reduction also by 30%. So this is one of the new technology that's going to come in the another 6 months time. A beautiful equipment, just watch for it. Other than that, in terms of the fuels actually, earlier we are using only petrol and diesel. Now government is doing some kind of research by adding biofuels like ethanol in petrol and biodiesel in diesel. The finished product characteristics will not change. The petrol, even after adding ethanol also continues to be petrol. At the same adding the bioproducts into the fuels. Other than that, long list of research is happening. Ethanol fuel vehicles, electrical vehicles. You know that automobile vehicles are not going to be ruling the either country or the world so longer. Soon they all will be replaced by electrical vehicles because of the government's promulgation, basically for switching over to the better standards, better systems, all those things. And LED lights, earlier we were using CFL and all those lights. Now we have switched over to LED lights. Then natural gas, geothermal energy, wind energy, biomass, energy efficient energy, and so on. And BS6 fuels also. So you all must be knowing it. There is a lot of competition going on. Okay, so a lot of standard upgradation is also going on by all the automotive manufacturers from BS4 to BS6. So this is the energy management system. Any industry, if they want to implement, they can implement energy management system, ISO 50001. They call it as NMAS, Energy Management Certification kind of system. They can implement it. So these are the trends, global energy trends and challenges. Population is growing, electricity demands are growing. At the same time, security is the issue. We have to ensure a beautiful system, tamper-proof system, foolproof system to have the energy at a sustainable level as well as security level also. At the same time, one must also take care of the environment concerns. Today I am producing energy by compromising the environment, by compromising the society. It is not possible. So I have to take care of the increasing needs of the electricity demands by the population with more security and a good environment in place. So these are the trends and challenges. Of course, everybody has to play a vital role. Government, academia like you, industry, common citizens, everybody have a role. So the green is good because of the customers, environment, shareholders are working in that environment. So we all must work for the green before green goes. Okay. And in current scenario, what I'm talking today, what is certain is uncertainty. Today, you know that yesterday there is a war, almost kind of a war kind of situation. Almost 20 Indian soldiers have actually become martyrs. Very unfortunate. One by one, all uncertainty things are engulfing the India. So we have no choice other than Corona and other than all those things. So stay safe by following the rules. Save energy at any cost, whatever is possible in your own capacity. Even if it is a small initiative, small measurement, also no problem, because tomorrow our future is subject to purely two factors: respect the resource manage the resource effectively. And today, you create less waste. That is also one kind of resource. That means you are creating a less waste means you are actually saving the resource also. Correct? No? You eat more and you exit more waste. So it is almost same. Less consumption, less waste. At the same time, you are saving the resource also. So let us not only depend on the corporate social responsibility. Only industry will tell me what to do. Only institute will tell me what to do. Some higher up will tell me what to do. Not like that. Let us now resort to the individual social responsibility. We all have to save the energy. We all have to save the resource. We all have to save it for tomorrow. So these are my pre-conclusive remarks. Energy efficient system will not only result in better society and less waste generation also. And this is a pledge actually. I read it out. We do hereby solemnly pledge that we shall be continuously striving to conserve energy resources and petroleum products in all spheres of our activities so that supplies of these scarce resources last longer for the progress of our country. We will shoulder the responsibility of a good citizen and endeavor to educate the people to avoid wasteful use of energy resources and petroleum products and use cleaner fuels for environment protection. This is the crux of my presentation, summary of my presentation. Take it as a synopsis of the presentation. Save fuel, save society, save product, save society, save everything, save for the country. So we cultivate this habit, our life will be like this. In case we miss it, we ignore it, we become irresponsible, the life is going to be like this. And